How's it going, everyone? This is your Astrology Horoscope for Tuesday, October 14th, 2024. I'm astrologer Alex Skyles, and welcome to the Moon Base. Hope you guys are great. It's good to be here with all of you. This moon is going to conjunct with Neptune today. So this is right before this full moon. The moon will cross the North Node today as well, going into Wednesday, which we will have the eclipse on Wednesday. But with Venus at 27 degrees of Scorpio, Neptune at 27, the moon will be at 27 today, conjunct Neptune while trining Venus. So yesterday, with a lot of the emotional conflicts that were stirred up, I think today, on a personal level, with this really sensitive and deep and loving and angelic and soft, nice trine from Venus to Neptune, like this is a very healing and compassionate and understanding connection here. So I think a lot of the conflicts that we had yesterday with Venus opposing Uranus, Mars and the Sun squaring, Mars and the Sun are at 22, but the Sun is going to make it to 23 today to meet with Juno. So, this can be a reconciliation or a healing moment in these relationships that this Venus and Scorpio has intensified. Venus and Scorpio has intensified relationships extremely, especially opposing Uranus. And of course, we're seeing sudden shifts in relationships. All of a sudden people on a dime want to, leave a relationship or people on a dime meet each other and it's this sudden intense connection, and I think with this nice sweet trine from Venus to Neptune with the moon today, this can be very healing, and this can really bring a lot of creative, spiritual, loving energy into the atmosphere. We need this right now. It's been so hard-nosed and so hard-edged. Of course, things are getting even edgier with Mercury in Scorpio. Tuesday can be a little bit of a softening of a day, Of course, this doesn't supersede the challenges that we're going through. This is, of course, trines are momentary, right? It's the squares and challenges that really help us achieve and accomplish and succeed, right? It's these trines like this where it's like we can catch a break, we can catch a breather for a moment, okay? So if there's any sort of deep spiritual connections that are forming, like this is going to intensify this and really bring that into a greater bond and expand that relationship on a spiritual level with Neptune here. And when Venus and Neptune get together, this is very compassionate, loving energy. Okay, I love it. I was born with this actually in my chart. So I really love this energy and we need this right now. The weekend and Monday was very intense. And of course, tomorrow we're going to have the eclipse. So with this moon on Neptune today, I would take time for ourselves today and not, don't fall too deep into your screens today or what the media is saying or what's going on. This can really be overwhelming for people. But Venus and Scorpio is trying to help root and ground this Neptune energy in a very solid way. Of course, Venus and its detriment in Scorpio isn't always the easiest, but with Neptune and Venus in harmony together with the moon, there's a lot of love going around, a lot of understanding and a lot of compassion. People are going through a lot right now. So if somebody is going through a lot, this is a great way or a great time to connect and communicate with people and just, allow people to express their feelings and, to be able to channel them, because this is a lot of repressed feelings and emotions coming up too. Mars is on its way to oppose Pluto. So we're talking about repression bubbling up at a high level. So any repressed feelings, any repressed emotions, any repressed part of our creative self or our sexual energy that's repressed, this Venus-Neptune trine can start to open things up and really intensify these feelings in a positive way, transmuting them creatively, transmuting these feelings spiritually, even sexually. I mean, Venus and Scorpio, this is about transmutation. Pluto's direct. Venus is on its way to sextile. with Pluto here as we go through this week in the eclipse. So it's like getting to the truth in the heart of the matter, right? But also having understanding and compassion. Venus-Neptune trine it's very soft. It's very loving. And with the moon here, it's like we want to be able to tap into those, more sensitive parts of ourselves and be able to share these things. And I think too, we're going to be experiencing a lot more psychic energy as we go through this Neptune Venus trine with Pluto involved, and of course this moon is going to be eclipsed. So it's like allowing the thoughts and feelings to flow, but also having boundaries. Like this moon Neptune Venus trine is like, hey, we have to have realistic, healthy boundaries, but at the same time, it's like we don't want to be so restricted with this Pluto Capricorn or with Saturn and Pisces, where our subconscious gunk and our unconscious Pluto, the subconscious Neptune, it's like where it all just gets, it starts to build up and pile up. This is a good release valve, not like where Pluto can be like a volcano or Uranus, where it's just like all of a sudden it erupts and, we're having evolutionary cataclysms. This is an opportunity to kind of soften the potential for extreme events to play out that could really alter the course of our future for good. So we want to take this energy and not fall into the illusion of things, but keep it real and keep healthy, practical boundaries. Because I think when the moon meets with Neptune like this, if Venus wasn't here, it's a whole different story. With Venus supporting and being a good solid root with Neptune and the moon today, and Pluto, with Venus on its way to sextile Pluto, it's like there's support here. It's like, but we have to be willing to create pathways for our unconscious and subconscious gunk to actually flow through and not just erupt, right? We need a flow. We need a nice current for these frequencies and these feelings and emotions to flow through. That's going to be a big theme as we move through this week and this eclipse that's going to be happening tomorrow, when the moon will come into Aries today. So let's see what time the moon's going to come into Aries, because of course we're having these eclipses in here around 3 o'clock on the West Coast. Moon's going to come into Aries. So now we are in eclipse territory. So will the moon meet with the North Node today? Yes. So this evening, going into Tuesday, or going into Wednesday, this is where the North Node and the moon meet. So we're going to start to see fated karmic events start to play out. Okay. The moon right before that will make an inconjunct to Mercury in Scorpio. So yes, there is this very lovely Venus-Neptune moon trine today, which is very, very soft, and we need some softness right now with how edgy and harsh things are. So when this moon comes into Aries, it's like, okay, that intensity is going to come straight back. That Venus-Neptune is a temporary moment, but it's a reminder that as we're going through this intensity and this rough-edged, hard-edged energy this week, it's like there's at least a reminder of like that we could still be in that place as hard as things can be. We can still be in that place of understanding and compassion. But here with this moon, right before it meets with the North Node, we'll make an inconjunct to Mercury. So it's like communication can be a little weird. There can definitely be some intense communication that can be very Mars-like, of some conflict and some misunderstanding, right? So it could be very Mars-driven, emotionally driven conversations, but also karmic conversations, where, resolutions and understanding are coming from a very karmic place, and the conversations that are starting to brew up as we go through this eclipse is very karmic. So this is not only a karmic release as we go through this full moon, but it's just, maintaining that softness through the harshness. I think that's what's really key here, and being understanding, because that's kind of the duality right now. So to have this kind of third party Venus, Neptune, Moon trine to remind us as we go in through this, as we step into this eclipse and this intensity, that, we have to keep that and hold that space for compassion and understanding, which is not easy right now, especially with how divided things are, where with this Jupiter retrograde, it's just, you can see the split completely. It's like, you can see what's in the dark and what's in the light. You can see where people stand, okay, that divide is completely visible at this moment, which is very harsh. This is a very harsh energy. So, we have to be careful with our words today. We don't want to be attacking people with words. If people are coming at you with words, it's like, just take a breather, and just be like, Venus trine Neptune with the moon, okay? Have understanding that not every person is fully objective right now. Objectivity is very hard, especially with Mars in Cancer going so freaking slow. Mars in Cancer is not the most objective, okay? The Sun in Libra can give us some perspective. Jupiter in Gemini retrograding is giving us the dual perspective, but it's giving us the other half of the coin right now with it retrograding. We've only seen one picture. So, this is a moment to remind ourselves that, to stay in that place of compassion through how difficult and harsh things are right now. The energy is very harsh with Mercury and the moon making an inconjunct or a quincunx, whatever you want to call it. As we go into Wednesday with this eclipse and the moon meeting with the North Node, it's like so many karmic conversations, and difficult conversations and awkward and uncomfortable conversations, and some things don't work out and some things are going to work out, with these inconjuncts and quincunx. It's not everything works out. Things can go wrong, or things can go unexpected, okay? And of course, in relationships too, we've just experienced this, or with, monetary situations, or, things that are valuable. With that Venus, Uranus opposition that we just went through, it's like the extremity of the unexpected kind of unpredictable energy that we just kind of went through. Now it's like the truth is starting to come out, and Mercury and Scorpio is starting to see straight through the BS. And this Moon, Neptune in conjunct is like, like I've had enough. Let's end this now. Let's just not keep pushing forward with such insanity. There's a lot. There is insanity, and it just the insanity of just over and over and over and over and over and over and over again. It's like, okay, let's just not continue this same loop and the same pattern. And Venus, which will sextile Pluto this week, is going to help a lot. Actually, uncover a lot of unconscious behaviors within relationships, because this is the last time this week that Venus, which is being disposited by Pluto, Venus in its detriment, which is going to sextile with Pluto forever, for good. So we want to use that energy as we go into this eclipse in this week to, get to the bottom of things. I think that's what Scorpio is really trying to understand. It's like, look, there's so much confusion going on. There's so much that we can't understand quite yet. I need to get the whole picture. So, this Venus sextile with Pluto for the last time can really help us see underneath the hood. Every time I see Scorpio placements, sextiling with Pluto, or Venus sextile Pluto, or the moon sextile Pluto, especially with Mercury, it's like, this is about uncovering what's underneath the surface, the anatomy. It's like we can't see the skeletal system or our nervous system or whatever. But when you can see underneath the hood and you can see how things work, then we can have a greater understanding of how to move forward and keep creating a more open path instead of going in the insane loops that we've been going in with Neptune. and Saturn in Pisces. So we have the death card again today. So this is, the continuation of this Pluto finishing up in Capricorn. It's like this collective death, because it's Capricorn. Like, we're talking on a collective level, right? The systems, the structures, the power structures. This is Pluto, right? This is the moment. This is the final swing of Pluto in Capricorn. So this is not only just a personal death, a collective death, but also an emotional death too. It's like, because after this eclipse on Wednesdays, we're coming into Thursday and Friday and the weekend, like, we're going to start to feel like we are in a whole new world. And along with that is a death of our old selves, a death of our old ways of being and thinking, our old ways of coexisting, which is a big thing. As Pluto comes into Aquarius, it's like, how do we coexist? How do we connect? How does humanity come together as individuals, which comes first? And how do us as individuals come together as humanity? So this is a collective death. This is a moment of transformation and a metamorphosis. And, we've been going through that since 2008, 15, 16 years. So it's like, now that we're at the very end of it, we can look back and we can see the whole picture. And definitely as we go through November with what we are experiencing in the world, it's all going to be completely visible, and it's going to be all on the surface, all on the table. And definitely I feel, especially with the death card coming out today, it's like this is leading into this eclipse. And after this eclipse, I feel like collectively we're all going to be able to see what's on the surface more than we've ever seen. And it may be uncomfortable. It's going to challenge our opinions, our views, our values, what we thought about the world, what we thought about we knew, what we thought about history, where we come from. This is going to, and then Pluto and Aquarius, this is going to be bringing up the origins of where our DNA comes from. So on a physical, practical, Saturnian level with Pluto and Capricorn, this is the end of the physical world that once was, that was created the last time Pluto was in Capricorn, 248 years ago, if you want to be precise. And, I think being able to look at these things from an objective point of view, it's just not easy right now. To be able to do that is it requires a certain level of conscientiousness that with Mars and Cancer it's not making it easy to do so. So today, we can start to feel like, man, like what was no longer is. And definitely through this eclipse, it's going to solidify that. Once we go into November and Pluto's getting ready to move back into Aquarius, Mars going retrograde, we will no longer be in that world that once was. And yeah, I wasn't even going to say what I was going to say. But anyway, I hope you guys have a wonderful Tuesday and get ready for the eclipse tomorrow. And I will see you all tomorrow for the eclipse. Have a good day. Peace out.